Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today's video I'm here to give you 5 players that I believe need to step up their performances at Luton. 5 players that I believe should be doing a lot better. Now, I've been very critical of Edwards, especially recently because of the way we've been playing and the results which we've been getting, but he's not at fault for all of that. So are the players as well. And I've picked out 5 players that I feel like need to start up in their game, because if they start up in their game, I believe we can turn things around a little bit. But it ain't going to happen unless these players start, making sure that they're putting in good performances in. So player number 1, Teden Mengi. Teden from last season in the Premier League was a massive standout for us. A player that was under the radar, I feel like got thrown straight into the deep end due to the fact that we had an injury crisis at the back. And we saw an unbelievable player, a player that I don't think many of us expected to be one of the standout performers. And because we saw a standout season from him, we were kind of expecting an even better one this championship season. But during the summer, we heard lots of rumours going around that Teden had a lot of interest. And that's expected. He's a young defender with plenty of potential, having a standout season for a team that's just been relegated from the Premier League. He's going to get interest, and despite the interest, he is still a Luton Town player. Now, some people suggest that he is sulking a little bit because he didn't get the move he desired and he's stuck at Luton. I don't think that is the case, and he started up, I don't know if you've seen on social media, TikTok account where he's posting videos. He's also started up a YouTube channel as well, giving behind the scenes of a player. For me, if he's sulking being a Luton Town player, you don't do the extra media work he's doing outside from playing football. So I don't think that is the case. I don't think he is sulking. However, I don't think he's performing. I don't think he's up in the same, I don't think he's performing at the same level he was doing last season. When I look at his stats, I don't feel like he's recovering the ball a lot more like he was. I don't think he's winning battles like he used to. I don't think he's intercepting the ball a lot more, winning the ball back for us. I'm not seeing that fight and hunger which I saw from last season. Last season he was an unknown player, someone who wasn't guaranteed a starting place. Right now, after the season he's probably number 1 centre half on our team sheet. But he's playing like he's going to play every week, regardless of his performances, and that shouldn't be the case. And with defenders now coming back, being a lot more fit, hopefully, and playing regularly, there's going to be a lot more competition. So I want to see him start upping his performances, because it's not been good enough, in my opinion. And if he starts upping his performances, I feel like defensively, Luton can perform better. And that brings me to player number 2. Marvellous Nakamba. Now, some of you may be thinking, Lewis, Nakamba's barely been playing. Exactly. He's now recovered from his long-term injury, which he got in January. He's been called up the last 2 international breaks for his country, so he's been available for a while now. I'm going to be seeing the Nakamba, which I saw last time in the Championship, because I haven't seen it. In fact, I haven't seen it for a while. I haven't seen that Nakamba which we all fell in love with. That Nakamba that was winning tackles in the opposition half, winning interceptions, winning battles. I feel like we currently need someone like that in the team. I don't know how he's performing in training, because he hasn't been featuring recently for us. He's only been making sub appearances. Is that a reason why he's been put on the bench, because he's not doing it in training? I want to see the Nakamba of old, and I feel like we're missing that. We need him to step up. We need him to step up, and when he gets his moments and his opportunities within the team, I want to see that Nakamba of old. And if we get that, I feel like we're making the right direction going forward. I feel like we might actually need to squeeze him into the team somehow. Maybe Edwards needs to have no choice and pick him, and we can see the Nakamba of old, because right now I feel like we miss him. And our midfield right now, I feel like is quite weak. It's a very lightweight midfield. Moving on to player number 3, who I think needs to step up, and that is Carlton Morris. Now, I don't like what I've seen from Carlton Morris this season. I don't like the leadership which he is showing. Getting silly yellow cards for arguing with the referees, for poor challenges. He's now suspended for the game against Hull in a game where I feel like it's becoming a must-win game for Luton, especially with the pressure Edwards is under. I'm not seeing the Carlton Morris that was winning plenty of battles last time in the Championship, that was causing Championship defenders all sorts of problems. I'm not seeing a Carlton Morris that's picking the ball up in the attacking half and running at Championship defenders, winning possession. I'm not seeing none of that. I'm not seeing that fight and hunger, that desire on a more regular basis. I'm really not seeing it. It's all right stepping up in a derby game or for a penalty. I want to see it when you don't have a penalty, when we're up against it like we were against Middlesbrough. I don't want to be seeing you coming on against Middlesbrough when we're 3 or 4-1 down, getting booked stupidly because you've got angry because your fellow colleagues are not pressing as well, and then you do a stupid challenge to get yourself booked and then suspended for the next game. I don't want to see that. I want to see you lead from the front. I want to see you winning your battles, and then hopefully the rest of the players will follow your leadership, will follow what you're trying to do. Because I'm not seeing leaders on the pitch, and it worries me, because as part of Luton Town's recruitment plan is to recruit leaders, is to recruit players with good attitudes. Well, I'm not seeing these good attitudes at the moment. I'm seeing heads down. I'm seeing players that don't want to fight because it's got tough. It's tough now. We're in this sort of mess, I would call it, where we've got too used to losing games of football. You can't get away with losing football now in the second division. We're a club that believes we are a second division team. So let's start acting like it, and let's start by leading from the front. And that's what I think Morris needs to start doing. Player number 4. I was delighted to sign this guy because of the raw talent he's got and his ability to be able to dictate a game and control a game. And that is Shandon Baptiste. What he did at Oxford before he got his big move to Brentford was unbelievable. He was someone who I was like, Luton, we need to be looking at him. But Brentford signed him. And if you know about Brentford's transfer business, they sign players there's a really good data-driven reason why they bring players to the football club. And you look at what Brentford are doing in the Premier League and how the club has, transformed over the years. They do things the right way. And they brought Shandon Baptiste. Now, Baptiste has had a lot of injuries at Brentford, so it made sense for Brentford to go, you know what, we need to depart ways. And if he stayed fit a lot more, didn't get those stupid injuries, he may still be a Brentford player now. But at the age of 26 years old, he got released at Brentford and we picked him up. We weren't the only club looking at him because there was plenty of injuries. He chose Luton. He chose Luton because he wanted to play regular first team football. But what has happened? He's picked up stupid injuries. He needs to get out of this. You need to stop being made of glass and get on with these injuries. Yes, injuries happen. But what I've started to realise is, with certain players that are very injury prone, I want to know what you're doing. Because you're letting the team down. The whole point we signed you was to create this style of play that fitted you. And right now, we can't do this style of play, which Edwards wants to do, because you keep getting injured. And then when you do play, I'm not seeing that level of performance, that level of quality, which I saw at Oxford, which I saw at Brentford at moments. I want to see that player. I don't even think we've got out of first gear with Baptiste. His passing ability and his dribbling ability is amazing. And it could be up there. He could be one of the best midfielders in the Championship, which I don't think people understand. That's the level he can be. But he's not showing it. And we're getting impacted by that. When I saw that performance against Middlesbrough, I was like, what am I seeing from this player? I'm not seeing a good performance at all, really. So I want to see that fight and hunger, because I don't see it from him. And for a player that wants to play regular first team football, that wants to be hungry and show what he can do, show us. Because we're not seeing it. Completely not seeing it. And lastly, moving on to player number 5. And some people may call me out on this, but Joe Taylor needs to step up. We've heard rumours going around that there was a bust up in training. Bust ups in training happen all the time. They just shouldn't be vocalised on social media. Whatever's happened in training has happened in training. But it's been made very clear, and a lot of fans can't get their heads around this, that Joe Taylor's not performing in training. He's just not doing it. And Edwards has made it very clear. His pressing is a problem. He doesn't press like the other strikers do. And what frustrates me is because I feel like Joe Taylor fits a lot of games. He's a different type of striker. He's very different to all of our other strikers. He runs in behind. And sometimes you need that type of striker. And I feel like the games which we've had so far, he's suited to bring him on, run in behind. But recently, he's not even got onto the bench. Sulk all you want that you're not playing. Sulk all you want in training. But start stepping up in training. Stop getting into stupid bust-ups in training and start working on something which your manager wants you to get better at. If it's pressing, learn and get better at it. It may sound really harsh because I feel like we need someone like Taylor right now. Someone who's a little bit different. And if he was doing what he was being asked to do, showing the right attitudes, I feel like he would have had a lot more minutes. Maybe I'm a little bit harsh. Maybe I'm defending Edwards a little bit. But I feel like he should be doing more. And if he was doing more, we would have seen more minutes from him. And I definitely feel like he could have impacted the team for us. I felt like he could have got a lot more goals. I don't blame him with his substitution appearances. I don't think he's had enough time. Coming on for 5 minutes is not enough. That's on Edwards. But I feel like we need to be seeing more from him. And that comes from him. Is he putting in the work? Is he doing work after training to make sure he's in that starting, in the squad for a game? Because the fact we haven't seen him recently suggests to me he's out the door. He ain't going to have a future at Luton Town Football Club. So we need him to start stepping up. Those are my thoughts. Those are my 5 players that I feel like need to step up. Let me know down in the comment section which players you feel like need to step up. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. I don't know what it's going to be. You guys can vote on that on my community page. See you guys very soon.